And we started with baseball, and then we went to NFL, talking about some fierce arguments with that. Now we'll transition into the third topic and final topic, talking about fierce arguments, and that is
Oh
the
boy,
NC
where
State
are we going?
going to the NC State UNC football game this Saturday at
Oh,
12:30. Something that
do
this
we
year.
have to? Do we have to go down that road?
I mean, I
Please.
just feel like this year, especially, I was thinking about it after the Carolina Boston College and State Florida State game. I was like, it just seems like it's unreal this game's happening, and already it's both teams are having a disappointing season so far. Injuries, have been a struggle for State. Their quarterback was out, but now he's back. I mean, he had a an okay game. I mean, of course, he could have done better. Brandon Mitchell made his first start, at quarterback after being hurt. But it's something that we know as Carolina fans, as far as seeing a mobile quarterback with Russell Wilson, something that we still have nightmares about, but something that hopefully we can neutralize. We have some pretty athletic linebackers and Travis Hughes and people like that, so we hope we can neutralize Brandon Mitchell. But then again, then they had their running back Shadrack Thornton, who had his best game of the season with 173 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that's against a good Florida State team. Granted, Florida State was up by a lot, but I'm sure they weren't giving up too easily. So, State has a pretty good rushing attack, and Brandon Mitchell was kind of unpredictable. What he's going to do, because there's not much film on him as NC State's quarterback.
I mean, Carolina struggled with a lot of things. Last week, well, 2 weeks ago, I went to the Miami game, and there's so much, hype in that. They turned Miami over 4 times, and Miami's defense is suspectable. Is suspect in certain areas. Their linebacking crew isn't exactly, the strongest of them all. But I think Carolina State, it could come down to that, that beloved last play. Hopefully, it doesn't come down to the kicker again for State's sake. That little punt down the sideline where that guy wearing 26 made a heck of a play, and I think that's one of my favorite calls by anybody in radio. Ben, I don't know if you can add it in there. Maybe we can add it in a little later. Put that little clip in, that 30-second call from Carolina Sports radio there. It's unbelievable. But anyways, back off topic again. But anyways, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's a different feel for State. They've got a running quarterback. They're in his the new system with Dave Doran. Coach Fedor is trying to figure out the defensive issues that have been at hand. And it's got a chance to be one of those 45-37 games, or it's got one of those chances to be a 15-12 game. I mean, you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and like it's frustrating, because for once, where a couple years ago Carolina had a stellar defense and an okay offense, seems to be the opposite there now. As far as our defense has been struggling. The run defense is just, it's seen better days. We're going to say that. I mean, not many times can a team, for example, Miami, be losing with 3 minutes left and not sweat at all, just running the ball down the field. Most of the time you're getting close to your 2 minute no huddle offense, but Miami seemed to be in no trouble, just running it down, getting 6 yards there, 7 yards there, a blown up call, getting 14, 15 yards here, going out of bounds. And when I got to the goal line, and being a Carolina fan, of course I always have confidence in my in everyone on Carolina's defense and coordinators and everything, but it was tough. It was tough seeing how easily Miami just went down the field, especially a team at the time the number 10 team coming into your stadium, and they basically give you the game. Carolina had so many opportunities to close out that game, and you can't do it wearing the blacked out uniforms, blacked out field, blacked out audience. Crowd was high, beautiful. It was good weather. I mean, everything fell into place, but for some reason they just could not quite close it out.
Yeah, Ben, I'll go back to, I'm not going to beat the dead horse to death, but I was there live. I saw how things went, and man, it was a little frustrating to see an interception thrown inside the 20, 2 interceptions inside the 20 by Carolina. You got to have 3 at least. You're guaranteed with 6. You walk out of that game, you might have a different feel for it. But I think one of the keys to this game is going to be the tight end Eric Ebron. How Carolina uses him in certain areas they've got him out in the spread, and he's kind of running that Jermichael Finley thing, going back to the
Exactly.
Panthers. I mean, going back to the Packers.
Hey, now.
Oh, my bad. I kind of made it. We could give him a Greg Olsen there, but anyways, that stand up hybrid tight end that most NFL teams are looking for. He's the number one tight end on the board for most people on their big board.
And also may interrupt you really quick in the fact that not many tight ends can do what Ebron and Finley do as far as the athletic tight end position, which is what makes them good. So carry on.
And I think you're going to see State try and double them. Try and figure out how they're going to stop them. I don't think you can put a linebacker on them, but I don't know if you can commit a corner to them every time either. So I don't know. You're going to have a linebacker and a safety over under. How are you going to play? And I think Ebron's going to have a big game. I look for him to have at least 100, 150 yards. Yeah. Because I think that's one of Bryn Renner's safety blankets, and you've got to use him down the field for sure. 20, 25-yard passes, those seam routes are going to be keys to a Carolina victory, if you ask me, honestly.
Yeah, and even going with Renner, you have to talk about the emergence of Marquise Williams. Williams had a heck of a game. He had a couple of drives all by himself. And the thing where, when Yates was there and Renner was the backup, when Yates was there, we appreciated them being there. But, we all of us said, hey, hopefully, Renner kind of has some wheels on him. He can get outside the pocket. But it seemed like over the past 2 or 3 years, he's kind of dropped that part of his game and just been strictly a pocket passer. Where Marquise brings in that element of just the speed he has and the vision he has downfield. He had a play that reminded me of the early Michael Vick at the Falcons in the game before, where he rolled out around his back shoulder, like he was facing front, and then rolled around I guess you could say counterclockwise and just hurled it down the field for a touchdown. So he's an exciting player to watch, and when you have a spread offense and a mobile quarterback, it makes it really tough for the secondaries if they want to bite in on the quarterback, or they have to stay back, for all the great receivers we have. Quinshad Davis, Ryan Switzer, the great slot receiver we have, the freshman. He's kind of like a little mini Wes Welker type person. He's exciting to have.
Yeah.
So, with I think Marquise really fits into the spread offense better than Brendan Renner does. But you can't knock on Renner, because when Renner was recruited, it was for a pro style offense with Butch Davis. So you can't give him too much trash or garbage as far as may not fitting into the system as well. But I think he's adapted as well as he could. And Williams is only a sophomore, redshirt sophomore, so he has this year and 2 more years of eligibility to play. So it'll be exciting to see how Fedora in the offensive.
I got a question for you, Ben. This may be a little inside question, but do you think the game that Fedora wants Renner to play, do you think it's too fast for him? Do you think it's moving too fast of how Fedora wants to move the game? I noticed when Williams came in the other day, he was going faster than Renner, but it seemed like everything was under more control. So is that a thing where Williams ran the offense in high school and kind of understands this fast-paced, no-huddle, spread out, we're going to throw it down your throat? Or what do you think about that, Ben? It's just a random question there.
Well, I think it's, of course, Williams was in high school more recent than Renner was, and if you look about just about every high school now, everyone runs the spread. So Marquise is more familiar with the spread. I don't know what Bryn Renner ran up in Virginia where he went to high school. I know Mallard Creek likes to do a bunch of spread offense and stuff like that, so it's something that Williams is accompanied with. And also, as we said, just his game style. Like Renner. I mean, he's predominantly a pocket passer. He has wheels. He can get out if he wants to, but predominantly he's a pocket passer. He can get out and make some great plays, but Marquise is a more mobile quarterback. He can make at the linebacker shift and maybe get out of space just a little bit, and which can open up the slants up the middle for Switzer or Quinshad or anybody like that. So, I think Marquise is more comfortable in this offense as far as the style of gameplay that he plays.
Right. And so let's look at one more thing if we can real quick here.
Right.
When you look at State's offense and Carolina's offense, what are the similarities that you see, and what are the differences that you see?
Well, I think the differences we see as far as, I think State has more of an established running game as far as you say. Shadrack Thornton, had his 173 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like AJ Blue for Carolina. I've never seen somebody who can cut hard or cross, who can change direction so fast than AJ Blue. AJ Blue came in as a quarterback, of course, and then switched over
Right.
to halfback. We have a couple of good running backs, but I think that Carolina, as far as the passing game has a little bit more of an advantage as far as Brandon Mitchell is a good quarterback, but he doesn't have as many snaps in game play.
Right.
In practice he had, but as far as being in the game, it's a second game back. The state offense and defense, and Brandon Mitchell himself might be upset from the beatdown they got from Florida State, which, anybody would have gotten beat down from Florida State. They had Bobby Bowden in for the first time, so you could have the Jacksonville Jaguars going there. I think Florida State would. Jackson. That's not a good example. Jaguars could lose to the Fuquay Varina High School Powder Puff team, but that's a different story. But it's going to be exciting to see Brandon Mitchell. Because a lot of times with mobile quarterbacks, it's so hard to see. It's so hard to contain them in their first couple of games. It's just like Cam Newton's first year in the NFL. It was so hard to see. He had a great year because it was so hard to see what he was going to do because nobody had film on him. Same with Colin Kaepernick and Russell Wilson and RG3. All these mobile quarterbacks, they're so hard to guard the first year because nobody has film on them. The next year is where the true test comes with how well they'll do and everything like that. So,
Right.
I think maintaining Brandon Mitchell and keeping him in the pocket is going to be the best thing for them, and maintaining Thornton at running back for State. Carolina, they need and Carolina's run defense, defensive line, and middle linebackers. They really need to stop that run. Something they've had trouble with so far. The secondary has stepped up a little bit. Still not where we want to see them, but I think as far as what needs to happen in the game is that we need to establish a great offense. We need to score early like we did last year, and the run defense for Carolina needs to get better.
Right. So let's go ahead and go on record here, Ben. I'll let you go first. What do you think the score is, and what do you think is the key to success to win the game in what you're thinking is going to happen? Let's hear that, Ben.
I think it's going to be. I'm going to do a Chris Berman prediction because his scores are always so quirky and weird. It's never even numbers. I'm going to say 31 to 22 Carolina.
31 to 22. And the way is to get Ebron the ball, I'm assuming?
Oh, as I said,
win the game?
you have to establish great, crisp, early possession passes because State is very passionate, and State is always ready to play in this game. So if you get them a little bit of spark, a little bit of momentum, if we get the ball first and go on a quick 3-and-out, State's going to take that momentum. They always it's going to be in Carter Finley. It's one of the loudest places I've ever been in. They have devoted fans, so if they get any spark, they're going to run with that. So you have to score early, and you have to quiet the crowd at Carter Finley. As you said, it's a really tough place to play. It's built just almost kind of like an NFL stadium as far as the seats are kind of just about on top of you on both sides. So it's a tough place to play, and Carolina needs to get some good long passes to Ebron if they have to, and the run defense has to be good if they want to beat NC State this Saturday at 12:30.
Wow, Ben. You're giving me a hard time here, Ben. As much as this is going to hurt me to say, I'm scared of the Wolfies this week. I'm scared they're going to come out with their hair on fire at home. That early kick, their front four is unbelievably good, unbelievably talented. You saw that in the Clemson game. You saw how quick they got up the field. You saw, how quick they eliminated a Clemson spread kind of thing. I don't know who's going to win. I'll give you a number. I don't know if this is going to be great here, but I think I'm gonna have to go Tar Heels, but it may be closer than the experts think here. I'm gonna give you a not so fast and a closer. Carolina has to make State turn the ball over. That's the only way they stay in this game. They turn them over at least once or twice, and they've got to get points. 10 points, 7 or 10 points. A field goal, touchdown.
Right. So final score.
Final score. Oh my goodness. Let's look at. Let's go 20. Let's go 28-24 Carolina. We'll go Carolina by 4.
All right, y'all. Well, anyway, thank you for listening to the Driveway Talk episode 1. Again, he's Daniel Sippy. I'm Ben Johnson. Signing out. Until next time. Have a good week.